Welcome back to another video. If you're new, my name is Leah, and I am all about spending less, creating more, and sharing with you how you can do the same thing in your kitchen. And that starts in the grocery store, so make sure you check out down in the description box all these different playlists of grocery hauls that I've been doing where I show you how I save money. But it follows through in the kitchen and how you cook. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some recipes that I've been doing lately that are easy and cost efficient. For this first recipe, I am reheating some ground beef with taco seasoning that I had batch cooked on sale in my freezer. And then I'm going to use some corn tortillas. I just air fried those really quick to get them crispy. And then I'm using flour tortillas, and you can use the ones that are already cooked or the ones you have to cook yourself. These are just our favorite. And then you use all of your favorite taco toppings and this queso cheese. So we're going to layer everything together and make our own version of a crunch wrap, which is really awesome because it's customizable to what everybody prefers. Now, the first time I did this, I left the corn tortilla whole, and it just didn't allow the flour tortilla to fold as much in. So the next time that I did it, I actually crushed up or broke up those tortillas so that they would fit in better. And then it was able to not have to be squished so much. Once you have everything layered in and the flour tortilla folded over, you're going to put this down into a skillet and heat it all the way on both sides so that it gets nice and toasted. Now, I like to cut it in half. I think it's easier to eat that way, or you could serve it just like Taco Bell does as a whole piece. This next meal comes together in about 30 minutes, and it is so easy. I'm starting with some cooked chicken. I'm using a rotisserie chicken that I chopped up, and I'm combining 1 can of cream of chicken with 1 can of chicken broth. I'm going to stir all of that together until it's one sauce with the chicken, and then I'm going to top it with uncooked, just the dry chicken stuffing mix. Pour that all over the top. Make sure it's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to use 1 more half can of chicken broth over the top just to help it cook. I put this in the oven at 400 degrees for about 30 minutes until it's nice and toasted on top and you see everything underneath starting to bubble. And then I like to serve this with some quick frozen veggies. They're easy to keep on hand. You always have a side ready. Pop them into the microwave in their bag for about 5 minutes, top it with some salt, and you're good to go. Next, I'm sharing with you more of an idea, not a recipe, but this is a go-to for whenever we're really busy or I really don't feel like cooking, and it makes a great lunch or dinner. I'm starting with some French fries that can go in the air fryer and some chicken. It can be the fillets like this or even chicken nuggets. I'm just using what I have on hand. And once all of that is cooked, I'm going to be layering together some snack wraps and sandwiches. And you can use any kind of meat that you have on hand, so this is really great when you're trying to clean out the fridge as well. It doesn't have to be chicken. If you have roast beef, a rotisserie chicken, or cooked chicken from the dinner before, just go ahead and use what you have and layer it together on tortillas. I'm using some chopped romaine, some shredded cheese. We're going to do some diced tomatoes, and then your dressing of choice, which I think ranch tastes best, but you can also make them Caesar. And that's another thing that makes this so awesome, is that everyone can basically layer it together themselves and customize it to what they prefer. So I am actually using grilled chicken in mine. I did not want to have breaded chicken this time. And then I am topping it with my kind of dressing. Then you can either eat them as a taco or actually fold them up into a burrito. This next recipe was recorded a long time ago, and I just ran across the footage for it, so I thought I would add it to this easy meals video. I'm starting with a roast that I purchased on clearance. That's just one of the kinds of meats that I do not pay full price for. I wait for a sale or clearance, and I am doing this in my Instant Pot with 1 can of cranberry sauce. Again, something that I purchased on clearance. And then I'm going to add some thyme. Fresh herbs, I think, elevate any dish, basically that and garlic. So you could also add some garlic powder to this. And this is the easiest way, I feel, to take the thyme pieces off of their stem. And then I'm going to add some salt and pepper to this as well. and 1 can of water or 1 cup of water. That way it can come to pressure and actually cook for you. Now, if you don't have an Instant Pot or pressure cooker, you can definitely do this in a slow cooker. Just have that on there for about 8 hours, or you can put this in your oven and cook it as directed per pound. I ended up putting this in the Instant Pot for 1 hour on high pressure. It wasn't falling apart, but it was definitely tender enough to enjoy it. I think that's because I started with it frozen, but if you have it already thawed out, 1 hour should be perfect. One of the things that I made to go with this roast dinner is my homemade yeast dinner rolls, and I have put this in a couple of different videos for you already. So I will have the full recipe listed down in the description box for you, and I'll have a more detailed video on how I make these in the description box as well. But this is just something that I like to throw together if I have a few hours in advance notice. That way I can let them rise, but they're super easy and you don't actually have to have a bread maker or a KitchenAid. You can still do this by hand if you want, and they turn out so delicious. But you can get store versions of uncooked dinner rolls as well in frozen bags, little balls that you pull out of the freezer and let them defrost and rise just like this. So you don't have to make them from scratch if you don't want to. I'm also serving mashed potatoes with this dinner, but I'm actually going to be making some caramelized onion mashed potatoes. I'm really excited about this. I haven't made them in a long time since doing this video, but this reminds me I should definitely add it to our meal plan coming up soon. So I'm just boiling potatoes like usual, and I like to use a soft skin like yellow to have the skin stay on them. I don't actually have to peel them beforehand. And then for the carrots, I'm adding some salt, pepper, butter, and honey. And occasionally I will add garlic to them as well, but this time I am not doing that. I'm letting them cook for a very long time until they're nice and tender. I prefer them that way as opposed to in the Instant Pot most of the time. I just think that they turn out a little bit better. But for the mashed potatoes, these are the onions that I'm chopping up. I'm using just about 1/4 of an onion for my family, getting those into nice small pieces. And then I'm going to put them in a skillet with about a tablespoon, 1.5 tablespoons of butter. Just depends on how much onion you're actually cooking. You're gonna wanna stay with them the whole time they're cooking though, because you don't want them to burn. So make sure you're stirring them, getting them nice and golden. You're caramelizing them, so all of the sweetness from those onions are drawing out and just making those onions more sticky. You don't actually have to add any sugar to them, or like whenever I'm making broths, I'll add some cola or Coke, Dr. Pepper to the skillet. You don't have to do that. The onions are sweet enough on their own if you cook them long enough. So now to mash them up, I'm just adding a little bit of butter and some salt, and then I will add milk to cream them up. I think this is a really nice alternative to your standard roast potatoes and carrots dinner. Growing up, we would always have the peeled potatoes, chopped up, carrots, and roast all in the same crock pot, and it was just such a convenient meal, but everything had the same flavor. So I enjoy doing it this way sometimes, having a different kind of flavor going on, whether it's the honey with the carrots. You can do some like steak seasoning and sour cream in your mashed potatoes, or like this time having the caramelized onion. So hopefully this video gave you some inspiration, and of course, until the next one, I will see you down in the comments.